Hello and welcome to the Get It Straight podcast. I'm Jason Sorotin and we are here at AAO 2022 and I'm here with my dear friends Stephen Gillum and Ashley Copeland, Braces Academy and Ortho Screening. How the hell are you guys doing?
Jay, it's good to see you, buddy.
It's been so long.
It has been so long.
Every meal together, every waking second. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. So let's start out. I just want to hear Ashley's impressions of AAO 2022. What do you think? How'd it go?
It's been wonderful. I mean, we've had a good time and been busy the whole weekend, so I think it's been great.
We gave away our swag in 2 days.
Less than that.
It was crazy. We thought about ordering more. For those who don't know, why don't you explain one and you explain the other of these two companies? Who goes first?
I'll take it away with Braces Academy. So Braces Academy is prescription patient education that you are able to send out to your patients through email and or text, and anything that you can take out of your practice that you could explain in video and kind of put more time back into your practice being more efficient in other ways. We're going to allow you to be able to do that. So how to brush, how to floss, anything that, again, you can educate with. So
Or how to stop a pokey wire. That's what somebody told me last night. They were like, I share the how to stop a pokey wire one more than anything. And I think what's interesting about it, when I first learned about Braces Academy, it was like how much time one can save by having these tools readily available in a prescriptive nature is super cool, because now you're not wasting time saying the same thing over and over and over again. It just makes sense. And I heard something crazy I didn't know. You guys do these in Spanish too?
Espanol.
Yeah. I do not, but yes, we do.
What, you don't do it? I'm shocked. It'd be funny to hear you speak Spanish, though.
In a country accent.
My
Yes.
God.
I'm sure that exists. I'm sure it exists.
Now, I can get you your, Louisiana accent pretty well, but, no, not your Spanish.
So tell me, Stephen, about ortho screening.
So ortho screening, put simple, we just want to put new patients in front of you. We want to help you monitor current patient status and streamline really getting those appointments off of your schedule that are really just a waste of time of somebody coming in. So from a virtual consult, virtual monitoring, everybody knows what that is nowadays. Before 2020, not so much, but now we all do. And we wanted to have a fun way for the patient to engage with you from your website, or if you have a patient who's coming in for, let's just say, a retainer check, or maybe it's that pokey wire on the weekend and they're trying to figure out, hey, do I need to come in or do I not? This is a way to save your staff and you time from having to come in. You can see everything, ahead of time.
And that's really cool. So if you have the kit, right? So for everybody who doesn't know, it's like a kit that's about as big as a hand. And you drop it off, and what Dr. Cossey does, he drops them off at schools?
He does.
Tell about that process. I think that's really neat.
Well, Jay, the thing is, orthodontists are great when it comes to branding, right? You see this. Y'all work with a lot of clients.
Yep.
They love their brand, and people in their community love their brand. But when they go out to a community event, whether it be a 5K or school, they're great at swag, too. Probably better than us. We ran out way too early, but they're great at swag. They drop off cool shirts, cool bags, all kinds of toothbrushes. But at the end of the day, they don't know how many patients they're getting off of that, right? Their ROI tracker is broken. What that little box will do, include that in everything you do in your community, drop it off. It encourages that person who gets it, hey, let this doctor tell you what they think about your smile. If there's something you have a chief complaint about your smile, they open the kit, they engage it, got a retractor, so they can have fun with it. They send in the screen, the doctor gets it. You saw Dr. Cossey's phone. He's getting them at all times of the day. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah, that's what the crazy part was, is last night at dinner, he literally got a lead while we were sitting there, and I was like, let me see that. And I just scrolling through, and it's 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. It's you put the power in the patient's hands to control their destiny, and the ones who really want to do it are going to get out there and do it.
It's just easy revenue, showing up at whatever time of day that patient wants to come see you. It's a good way to be out there in front of them whenever you are not at the office.
What do we think the future holds for virtual screenings, with COVID seeming to never go away and people being used to it and it being more efficient? Is this just the future?
I feel like it is. At the end of the day, we've embraced it, right? As a culture, as a society, we don't want to take our kids in to do things if we have an easier way to do it now. I mean, time is too valuable, too precious.
Well, not only that, too, it's like we all of a sudden were shut down and had to do everything at home. Now everything's back open, and I feel like people are busier, and I don't think that that's going to slow down for people. I mean, there's kids having more soccer games and baseball games and extracurriculars, and if a mom doesn't have to sit in a waiting room for 20 minutes, to check aligners or elastics or anything like that, and she can do it right from her phone with her kids at home, after homework, before bed, before bath, whatever. I don't think it'll go away.
Yeah, life is too crazy. It seems like even though we had less places to go during COVID, that life got busier.
It does seem that way.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, but I mean, we worked harder during COVID than I think I've ever worked.
Yeah, I heard a story about you.
Did you?
I heard that you slept on the floor through the very first part of COVID at the office, helping people with virtual consultations.
I did. The floor was very comfortable in the office. It was amazing.
No, tell me about what happened and what that situation was like.
So here's how it played out, right? So this is kind of funny. So we look back, Ashley was there. Like we're at a meeting in March of 2020, right? We're in Atlanta, actually. We're at a practice management systems meeting. And we're all sitting there, and like the whole COVID news is breaking out, right? We flew into Atlanta and everything, and the AAO was supposed to be in Atlanta of 2020 in April, actually at the end of April, early May. And so they're talking about the possibility of this thing blowing up and going crazy, and all of a sudden, like, they're going to start shutting things down. That next week after, everything was shut down. So day one after, orthodontists got the news that, hey, your practices have to close. So Dr. Kasi came in, and he's like, what if we take and we kind of twist this thing we've got with ortho screening, and we make this the way we communicate with our patients during this time period where we can't see them? I've got patients in treatment that I can't watch and monitor. I have no idea what to do. Like we had vendor partners of ours who were calling and saying, hey, how can y'all help? And so what we did is we said, let's give a really good deal to these doctors and get them through this time period, and they'll be our friends forever. And so that's really what we did. Overnight, we just had people, sometimes like 25, 50 new accounts coming on board in the same day. Ashley setting up new patient forms, like we're adding in new staff just so we can make it work. We were using a lot of Dr. Kasi's staff at the time because they weren't working in the practice. It was absolutely insane.
You're getting 50 new patients a day, new docs a day?
Yeah, I mean, there was that many people out there who needed some sort of way to communicate with their patients. They didn't know what to do. They were lost.
And, he's sleeping on the floor because it's like, we're not just in the U.S., all of a sudden these doctors overseas and in other parts of the country are having the same thing. They're shut down, and Stephen was ready to rock and roll. It didn't matter what time of night it was. He was answering the phones.
It's honestly one of those like once-in-a-lifetime situations I don't know that I'll ever experience again, where there's that much demand for something caused by a pandemic. It was great for business, but it was really cool seeing how we were able to help people get through that and stay in touch with their patients.
And have those people stayed?
The majority of them, yeah. We kind of figured, hey, what's going to happen? This is a little nervous, especially for a business, and you get this. It's like you can grow too fast, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we were like, maybe, half of them will stay or like that. I mean, it was more like 85% of the people who came on board are still doing virtuals today. And some of them are doing it in bigger and better ways. They're teaching us ways they're doing it we didn't even make the system for.
Yeah, talk about how Bovenizer and Baker do it. They custom design boxes, all sorts of cool shit.
Yeah.
They are like the full concierge service of Ortho. It is incredible to watch that office kind of roll stuff out.
What do they do?
Yeah, so like Gage, right?
Yeah.
So they've got the marketing maps. Y'all got experience and stuff with that.
Yep.
So we took all of that data and found look-alike patients who were not patients, but look-alike patients in their area, and they customized a cool mailer with a cool kit, with a cool card that went out, and they mailed out I think actually 1,500 or so.
Yeah.
1,500 kits in that market to targeted people to get new starts. And they had a response from it where people were like sending in, their screenings. That was one way they did it.
That's so cool.
And, when we're saying like these customized boxes, they put effort into it and sent a flyer with it of like, why orthodontics at 7? What should we be looking at? All of these different questions that parents have, and it's coming straight to their mailbox, and, they got it. And again, whenever they wanted to do it, it didn't have to be scheduled or anything like that. So you've got this pretty little box that's come to your house with cheek retractors and instructions and, a great little entry into the office.
I think about it like we look, I think maybe even one of y'all's signs here in the booth this week, like data-driven results. You can talk about y'all's experience, but it's been fun talking data with everybody that's here because all of our companies are based around true data that delivers results.
Yep, it's really cool. It's cool when it works.
Absolutely. Kind of like our plan for swag.
Exactly. It's cool. Turns out people really do love Plinko.
If y'all would have left me up to the decision, we would have been covered. No, I'm kidding.
Well, if people want to learn about Braces Academy, what's the best way for them to get a demo?
The best way really is go to bracesacademy.com. If they want to learn about that or ortho screening, there's a little button at the bottom right. They can schedule a meeting with us, and we'll be glad to hop on and share with them what we have to offer and do an assessment on what patient education and consults can do for their practice.
Okay, and what about ortho screening? How do I get started with that?
Same way. They can, if they're on either website, whether it's orthoscreening.com/doctor or bracesacademy.com, they can find us there.
Okay, great. It's real easy. Ashley Copeland, Stephen Gillum, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. You guys are so lovely. On behalf of Brain Bites Creative, On Demand Orthodontist, and the Get It Straight podcast, I'm Jason Sroten. We'll see you next time.